Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, First Tea Network. Hope you can all hear me. Quick thumbs up. People can hear me, yes? Wonderful, thank you. We have some tornado warnings here in Florida, so hoping we all stay online here. I'm glad you can hear me now. So thank you all for joining us today. So happy to be here with all of you. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Kristen Westberg. I am the Senior Director of Curriculum and Education here at HQ. And we are really excited to host this event today and share an exciting new resource, Level All, that is being made available to support and supplement the delivery of our capstone experience, ACE. With us today from Level All are Julia and Manavi, who are going to be sharing more about Level All and how it can be used with all of you. Julia is a success manager at Level All. She works with partner schools and organizations all over the country to help them utilize the Level All platform. Prior to working at Level All, she taught biology and was a college and career counselor at a high school in New York City. Manavi is an associate on the partnerships team at Level All. In her role, she helps Level All develop new relationships with a variety of youth-facing groups, including high schools, CBOs, employment programs, and workforce development boards. She's passionate about increasing equity in education and is very excited about this partnership with First Tee. So thank you, Julia and Manavi, and to all of our chapters for joining us today. If you have questions along the way, please put them into the chat. We'll do our best to get to them and provide those answers. And I'm going to turn it over to Julia now to get us started.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kristen. Oh, perfect. Now I'm big. Well, hello, everyone. It is great to see you all today. I appreciate you taking the time out, especially those of you who are also having those tornado warnings. My fingers are crossed for you all that none of those come to fruition. We are based here in New York City, and we're currently getting dumped on with rain for the third day in a row, and there is no end in sight. So we are all suffering somewhat, but hopefully soon we'll all have nice spring weather and it will be worth it. So great to meet you all today. Manavi and I are super excited to show you all Level All. Specifically, we've been working on some resources that are really well aligned to the ACE curriculum, and I will be sure to spend most of the time highlighting that. However, I, of course, would like to start a little bit broader and give you a background on Level All so that you know what it is that we set out to do before we met First Tee, and then, of course, share what we've created together with First Tee in mind. The other thing I wanted to mention is that this is a completely free resource. So we've entered into a partnership with First Tee. All the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed. So there is really no step that has to happen in order for you all to have access and your youth to have access to the platform. We will be able to provide you all with a link to create your own accounts at the end of this call. And I believe that the link is also available in perpetuity for you on the app. So with that, I will go into sharing a little bit about Level All with you. I have a deck. It is short, I promise, and I will go through it pretty quickly because, like I said, I really do want to focus my time on looking at the resources that we built out for ACE. And of course, as Kristen mentioned, if there are any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Yep, and Brittany's putting it again. And we will be sure to get to them either as I'm speaking or towards the end. I can answer any more of those more specific questions. But yeah, thank you in advance for the time, and we're really excited to share. So let me get my screen up and running. Okay. And it's going to move everything off of our big TV. So give me 1 second to move everything back up. There we go. Perfect. All right. So like I said, just a bit of background on Level All. We are a college and career readiness platform by title. I think that pigeonholes us a bit as we cover everything from high school success to the college and career portion to financial literacy to life skills. So really there are resources on our platform for anyone wherever they are in their what we say post-secondary or even current secondary life. But we were founded about 5 years ago with the mission in mind to democratize information and really make the things that you need to know and the things that you need to do to be successful, really available to anyone, regardless of where they grow up, who they know, and create a wealth of resources that everyone can benefit from. We really pride ourselves on the solution that we've built. And I think that these 4 pillars really summarize the platform and what it is that we have deemed the level all solution, which is that we have a comprehensive content library. The library is made up of multiple formats of engagement. We work really hard to make the experience personalized, and then we offer a lot of customized supports in a partnership with us. So as I mentioned, we are college and career, but we really span way more than that. So we have content, and the content spans all of the areas that you see on the left, and the content is made up of the format that you see on the right. So everything that you see on level all, the word we use is collection. So all of our collections are formatted with first giving people the knowledge that they need to then make the right decisions, to then make action, take action and make change. And I do believe that this is really aligned to the ACE program within First Tee. Manavi and I spent hours digging through the workbook as we planned how we might be able to integrate with First Tee. So I hope that you kind of see some similarities. We're really trying to front load knowledge so that when students go into something like ACE, they are successful in taking action and actually making meaningful steps in their path to success. So with our content, you will see high school success, college planning and affording college content, the college transition and college success piece, college alternatives, career skills, career exploration and career exposure, financial literacy, life skills, and leadership development. And I think what really makes us unique is that when we say that we are a content library that covers all of those things, we've really tried to create a content library that is responsive to how everyone, but especially today's youth, consume content and do so successfully. So what you'll see within our collections are really a lot of different types of content. And the word we use here at Level All is snackable. The content is short form. It's going to be quick. You can log on for 5 minutes and still have a meaningful experience because we're not serving you long 30-minute videos or 10,000 word articles. Everything is going to be quick enough that you can have a really short burst of time on the platform and still walk away feeling like you learned something or made progress towards your goals. So we have all of our collections will be made up of a combination of articles, videos. We have a button that allows you to make the articles be read to you. So there's that auditory piece on top of our videos. We have slideshows. We have what we call our projects, which are going to be those action steps that are more similar to what you see in the ACE workbook, where you're actually giving students the things to think about in the space to write them out. We have infographics. The one that you see on the very right is one of the favorites. It's an interactive map of the country, and we do this for all 150 career profiles that we have on the site, where if you go to, let's say, Florida, and you go hover over Florida while you're in the lawyer pathway, you'll be able to see what the median salary is for a lawyer in Florida, what the tax rate is in Florida, what the cost of living is in Florida, and so how much money you'll actually walk away with at the end of the year. So really great wealth of resources that we've gotten a lot of incredibly positive feedback from both the users as well as the facilitators, the educators. I guess they're still users, but the people who are utilizing it to reach the goals with their students. So we're really proud of the fact that we have all these formats. We have a lot of areas where we personalize. One is on the homepage. The homepage will automatically personalize to each user. Another portion are our journeys. We won't really spend a lot of time on the journeys today because they are very similar to what the workbook is. The workbook kind of lays out, the ACE workbook lays out what the pathway is. And so we didn't want to give you all the same thing that you already had. We tried to focus our energy and our efforts on creating something that would really be supplementary to the amazing work that Kristen and her team put forth in building out that ACE curriculum. So I can go into the journeys when I get into the platform just to show you what's there and what is possible for you to use. But just know that that's not going to be our main focus for today. And then the last pillar is that when anyone enters into a partnership with Level All, there really is a level of customization in that support. So if you haven't gotten the vibe already, I've been working very closely with the First Tee team on exactly what the goals of ACE are and how Level All can support. So you're not just going to be receiving our platform wholesale, you're going to be receiving our platform wholesale plus the customized resources that we've built out specifically for First Tee. And I can get into this more towards the end of the presentation, but I do want to make sure that you all know that we are also willing to go further and customize things based on a certain chapter. There is no limit to what we're willing to do for our partners. So if there is something that your particular chapter would be able to make good use of that doesn't already exist, that is absolutely something that we would be willing to explore with you all separately to build those things out for your chapters. But with that, I will take us right into the platform and give you a little bit of a tour. Again, I'll start with a broad overview so you all are comfortable logging onto the platform and understanding where everything is and what everything is on your own. But we'll spend the bulk of our time looking at the ACE specific resources that are available on the platform. So what you see here is the Level All homepage. The beautiful thing about Level All is that we offer access to several groups of people. When you do create your accounts, the first thing you'll be asked is, are you a student? Are you an educator? Are you a parent guardian? Or do you fall under the other box? And so all of those groups of people are able, and we welcome them to make accounts and utilize our resources, both for their own personal growth, but also, of course, a parent guardian might want to come in and see what things they should be helping their ninth grader think about while they're in ninth grader, or how can I help my ninth grader afford college and not have to walk away with lots of loans. So everyone within the First Tee ecosystem is more than welcome to create accounts. The experience will be almost identical. I say almost because we have added a couple of features in for educators, but the overall experience will still be the exact same. Personally, in my teaching experience using platforms, it was always a pain point that I was curious, if I sent this thing to my student or assigned this thing to my student, what is it going to look like for them? So we really took care to create the experience on Level All to be identical, educator or student. So you're never wondering, if I send this link to my student right now, are they going to see what I see? They absolutely will. If you happen to send them a link to one of the educator only features, it will just kick them back to the homepage. They won't accidentally slide into the wrong piece of the site. And I'll front load right now by saying the Educator Hub is going to be one of the educator only resources, and the dashboards are. So anyone who logs on, student, educator, parent, guardian, we'll start with the homepage, and that starts with today's focus. Today's focus, we call these our flares. These are going to be time sensitive reminders for the user outside of ones that we've scheduled specifically for groups of people. So the ACE flare and the Educator Hub flare are both permanent flares that are not time sensitive. The ACE one obviously will only show up for people logged in under an ACE account. Or under the ACE umbrella. Everyone makes their own account, but you'll be under the ACE umbrella or the First Tee umbrella. And then anyone who's logged in as an educator will automatically have the Educator Hub show up as a flare, but the rest of the flares are going to be time sensitive reminders. So I'm seeing the FAFSA, I'm seeing college tours, last minute college applications. So I'm logged in right now as half educator, half 12th grader, which is how my flares are being populated. If I click on any of these, I get taken to the relevant content. So in the case of the ACE flare, I'll be taken to the page that we built out for ACE. If I click on the Educator Hub, I'll enter the Educator Hub where all of our lesson plans live. If I click on the FAFSA one, I'll be taken to the FAFSA collection, where then Level All will walk me through what the FAFSA is, what I need to do for it, and what those steps are. As I mentioned before, we have what we call our journeys. The journeys that I've been working on will populate here. So right now on this account, I haven't clicked on any journeys to begin, but if I did, then they would populate right down here so I can easily pick them back up. The tools section are where we populate our most popular tools that people enjoy using: our college finder, our scholarship finder, the career clusters collection, and our how taxes work collection. Obviously the taxes one is extremely timely right now. And so these tools are really great resources for anyone to click into and use. And I will show you the college finder and scholarship finder as I scroll through. The jump back in section is going to be where we populate things that you've recently clicked into, but maybe haven't quite finished yet. So whether it's a collection, like you see the First T capstone here, or any other things that I haven't quite finished yet. And then the recommended for you are going to be things that you haven't looked at yet that might be of interest to you. The entire content library is going to live under this Discover. So if you're interested in just seeing what Level All has to offer, I recommend you come into either this Discover section, or if you're looking for something specific, feel free to use our search functionality right here. So if I was wondering about resume writing, I could look resume up and I would see that there are some great resume resources here. But if you're just interested in browsing, come in here into Discover, and then you'll be able to look through all of those verticals or subject areas that I mentioned before, starting with the high school success, to the college planning, to the college alternatives, to the career skills, careers, financial skills, life skills. And then we do build out state-specific content as we garner more partners in each state. So we love putting together specifics on how to graduate high school in a certain state, like what are the requirements, how to find a job in a certain state, whether it's thinking about the career exploration piece while you're still in high school or now that you've graduated, how do we actually find a job? And same idea with finding a college that's right for you. So you'll see lots of great resources, built out for various states. And if you do not see your state listed, you can feel free to reach out to Manavi and I. We build all of our content here in-house. So if you're thinking it would be so helpful if we built out, let's say Georgia, if we built out Georgia's state-specific content, all of them are already in the pipeline, but we are able to then talk to our production team and ask them to shuffle things around. So you can feel free to let us know if there's anything stateside or even just content in general wise that you think would be useful for you, for your family, for your First T participants. But that's where the entire content library is. I mentioned the Educator Hub before. So all of our lesson plans live here. So if in a coaching capacity, you have interest in maybe leading an entire, whether it's a group of 30 or a group of 5, through the process of applying to college or career exploration, or even just talking about how to open a bank account, you can feel free to come into our Educator Hub, and you can click in and see all of the lesson plans that we have available. A lot of these will be aligned to the content that we've picked out for First T to be aligned to ACE. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like when we get into that side of things. But those lesson plans will also populate through that view. So why don't I get in there and I can show you what we built. So really what we did was we took that coaching manual and the student, so we took the coaching side and the student side, and we said, okay, what are the projects within ACE, and what Level All content might help someone trying to successfully complete ACE do so, and maybe give them some of that knowledge before they start actually filling out the workbook. So if you either go through on the partners page, these are our sponsors. They are who allow us to offer the platform completely free of charge to a program like First T. But ACE will also now, First T will also be listed here, and you can click into our page through there. And then as you all saw on the homepage, you can click in right there, and then you're taken here to our First T Capstone ACE page. And this is really where the bulk of the resources that can help support you all as coaches, but also your participants in trying to complete the capstone will all live here. And so what we've done is we've ordered our resources by project. So we have Project 1, Enjoy Golf for Life. Project 2, Give Back to the Community. Project 3, Plan for Life and Career Possibilities. And Project 4, Explore Educational Opportunities. Right off the bat, you might notice that there are fewer little tiles here for the first 2 projects. Depending on your familiarity with the projects, I believe that this is a good reflection of kind of what the projects focus on. So in the case of the first project being more maybe golf related and the second project being more volunteer related, there are still definitely level all resources that can help support some, if not all of those activities within the projects, but maybe not as many as actually looking at life and future planning as well as the educational opportunities. But we tried our best to make it really clear for both you all and your participants what lives where and which one of these tiles, what you'll find within one of these tiles. So let me start from the beginning. If we go and look at ACE Project 1, Enjoy Golf for Life, you'll see resources to support ACE workbook activities 1 to 4. So if someone is currently in the workbook and looking at Project 1 and they're wondering, I don't really know what this thing is asking me to do, no problem. We click in here, and if they're looking at setting goals, we have our goal setting collection highlighted for the participant, or again, for you as the coach. There's a portion, one of the activities within Project 1 is also about having the participants journal in order to set those goals. And so we have the power of journaling here as well. So just to give you a sense of what happens when I click into setting goals in high school, I am then transported out of the ACE page and into the collection on setting goals in high school, where now if I'm not sure how to set goals, absolutely no problem. The content here is going to walk me through the process of understanding what a goal is and why do I need to set them? What kind of goals can I set? Understanding the difference between a big and a small goal. So this is a really great opportunity for your participants to then build their knowledge of goal setting so that they are more successful in completing that activity. So when they go to submit the workbook to the panel to be reviewed, they're more likely to be successful and to pass at least that portion. You see that lesson plan is also here highlighted. So again, if you as the coach are interested in maybe playing a supporting role in the completion of those activities, if you click in and to those collections and you see a lesson plan, you can of course feel free and feel encouraged to utilize these materials that are available for you. They're really, they're Google Docs. So you're gonna have access to them just through your account and understand how to maybe then lead your group through a lesson on goal setting. So again, they're more successful in completing that activity. But I'll click through just a few of these quickly to highlight that second bullet I spoke on before, the multiple formats of engaging content. You can see right here that we're going to start with a 31-second video highlighting the snackable piece. And then we have a 1-minute read article, but again, I can click and have it read aloud to me to start understanding what goal setting is. Move on to the next piece and I see what kind of goals can you set. And now I'm using a little scroll through to look at all the different types of goals. I can look at goals big and small and understanding some examples of some short-term, some long-term. So really front loading the student's knowledge of what goal setting is. So now I can go back into my workbook and feel really prepared to actually successfully set my goal. We give those strategies here. So understanding SMART goals, understanding WHOOP. And then if students feel so inclined, they can actually use our projects, which have action steps to then set their own goal on the platform if they want, or they can use our, oh yes, there's more to see some other collections that might help them be successful in this realm. So that is what one of our collections look like. And again, that can hopefully really help your participants be successful in completing Project 1 in the goal setting portion. For Project 2, giving back to the community, you'll see this tile here is going to help support activities 1 to 5. So we see our collection on making impact with community service, writing a thank you note. Our Pair Your Purpose with a Paycheck is an amazing collection, especially for our younger users. It really helps students self-assess their own strengths in order to really figure out what they are well aligned with in terms of career exploration. So I always really love highlighting this collection. Again, the power of journaling, as there is another activity about journaling, and then looking at recommendation letters. When they come into project 3, you're going to again see these broken down by activity, as the activities we have way more resources here to assist with each activity. So for project 3, activities 1 and 2, you're going to see build your future life. So this is again about thinking future forward and what things are going to be important to me career-wise, goal-wise, and starting to work through those, finding what motivates you, another career exploration one, let others help see who you really are. So working with those around you to figure out what is your passion and what is your purpose, and then a go-to guide for actually job hunting. For activity 3, we picked out 3 of my favorite collections when it comes to career exploration. We call these the 3 personas. I already know what I want to do, I don't know what I want to do, and I kind of know what I want to do. And these are all great jumping off places. Of course, not all 3 of these are going to be applicable to any one student. Usually they fall into one of the 3 buckets, but they really do a great job at identifying the appropriate next steps for each student, depending on where they are. So every student, regardless of where they are in their career exploration path, feels empowered to actually take a next step that makes sense for them. We're highlighting again that pair your purpose with a paycheck, and then looking at informational interviews and job shadowing. For activity 4 for project 2, we have again goal setting. We have an intro to career and technical education, since that's a big piece of that activity. We have, do you need a degree, more training, or both? So really thinking about what pathway aligns to your specific goal. And then looking at in-demand jobs after high school. So starting that conversation around what jobs are actually in high demand. When I was teaching, every single one of my students either wanted to be an influencer or a pro basketball player. And I think having those conversations around what jobs are actually in demand can maybe bring some students back down to earth without just telling them no. Because if we all know anything about young people, if you tell them no, they're probably not going to listen unless you give them a really good reason to hang on to. And then for again, project 3, activities 5 and 6, we have a networking portion worked in about thinking about building out a network, looking good on paper with a professional resume, and writing a high school resume. So we have 2 awesome resume collections. One of them is really focused on helping a high schooler build a resume for finding a job while in high school. And the other one is more focused on resumes in general and what a professional resume entails. So we thought it would be beneficial to highlight both. We have a collection on cover letters, job interviews, and mock interviews, and those all really align well to activities 5 and 6. And then what you'll see here for ACE Project 4, we felt that with the way that the activities were set up for that, it didn't particularly make sense to highlight the collections that were aligned to each activity, because the activities kind of repeat themselves. So it's having them explore one pathway and then having them explore another pathway. So instead, we aligned the collections to be for a particular pathway. So if a student wants to explore the college pathway, excellent. We have why college, we have 2 or 4-year college, which one's for you, create your ideal college list, how to get into college, the college visit, and of course, the college athlete. Couldn't leave that one out for an organization like First Tee. If students are thinking, okay, what about entering the workforce right away? Then we have Guide to Trade and Tech Programs, Jumpstarting Your Career with Job Corps, Apprenticeships, a guide for high schoolers, that Intro to Career and Technical Education again, and then your Guide to Tech Boot Camps. If students are thinking about the military pathway, we have lots of resources here on both the military in general, but then also the specific branches within the military for them to explore. And then the last portion of that project being Explore Financial Aid, where we tried to highlight the most important things that were relevant to the things being called out in the workbook, which is around financial aid in general, having a mindset around affording college and knowing that you don't have to go to college and walk out with loads of debt, the FAFSA, the CSS, and outside scholarships. The last thing I'll highlight now that I've said scholarships, and I meant to show before, we do have a scholarship finder on the site. It was linked. I showed it when I was going through the homepage on the right side with the tools. But I think that as you support students through that fourth workbook project, you'll be able to really utilize our scholarship finder. You can see we have almost 7,000 scholarships available on the site. Students or you all can filter them by different characteristics and then save them to your overall list so that students know which scholarships they want to come back and apply to. So if students are working through that fourth project, you can of course tell them to come and find the scholarship finder, and that might help them actually carry out the scholarship search. And then same idea here with College Finder. So this might be able to support students who are exploring the college pathway as well. They can filter through almost 3,500 different colleges and save those to a list as well. And so that is our Level All platform and a great overview of what it is that we built here for First Tee. Let me figure out how to stop sharing my screen real quick. And so I see there are a couple things in the chat that I'll pull open right now, but if you have any other questions that haven't been mentioned in the chat or I haven't answered yet, you can feel free to throw them in. But I see right here, does each staff member at the chapter have a login, or does the chapter have one login to Level All? Excellent question. So everyone is able to make their own account on Level All. When you go onto the ACE app, or as I mentioned, or the First Tee app, or as I mentioned, I'll put the link in the chat at the end of this call. You will be prompted to make your own account on Level All. It will all fall under the First Tee umbrella. So it's not like you'll be controlling the accounts of all of your students. We've kind of created a way for you all to have access to the resources without having to like really worry about what your students are doing as well. So everyone will be able to have an account. Each staff member. Oh, Lexi already answered the question. Thanks, Lexi. And so, yeah, you are more than welcome to make an account. You're more than welcome to have, your other staff members make accounts, your students make accounts. And of course, if you're curious about sharing the Level All resource outside of First Tee, we are always happy to have the more the merrier. We just ask that you let us know that you have interested people so that under the First Tee umbrella just remains First Tee associated people. Do First Tee participants have to be actively pursuing ACE to be able to create an account on Level All? That's such a great question. No, they do not have to be. So we, under this partnership, have said anyone within the First Tee ecosystem is more than welcome to create an account on Level All. Of course, they will be able to see the ACE content, and that flare will still populate. Hopefully, it might excite people who maybe weren't planning on pursuing ACE before to pursue it. But you do not need to be actively pursuing ACE in order to access Level All or benefit from the resources on Level All. As an educator, is one able to see what participants have viewed? So yes, I have two answers. The short answer is yes, there is the ability to see what participants have viewed. We can do so through our dashboard. The longer answer is we didn't want to create a situation where people were not excited to use Level All because they felt that they were going to have to monitor what their students were using. We wanted to make sure that you all felt empowered to get your students on and not have it feel like an extra task. So it's definitely not a requirement to have you or your students on the platform. But if you are interested in being able to see what your participants have viewed, then we can certainly have those conversations separately with the interested educators and figure out how we might be able to link you with your students. But it will have to be probably a separate conversation, just so then we're not having to make everyone be linked to their students. And Kristen, thank you for answering that last question. What level of coaching does it take? Perfect. Any other questions top of mind? What I will say is that a lot of people will walk away from a meeting like this. Oh, sorry. maybe that was an accident. What I will say is a lot of people walk away from a meeting like this feeling like, I don't have questions now, but let me log on and then maybe I'll have more. And usually they do. So I hope that you all feel like you can reach out to myself or Manavi at any time. We are the success team for First Tee. So we all will be those points of contact for everyone who's using First Tee. So if when you create your account, you have particular questions, you can please feel free to shoot us an email. I will make sure in this meeting, but I believe Brittany's planning on following up after this with our contact information, just so you have it in multiple places in order to contact us afterwards. Perfect. And I'll just read out loud what Kristen just typed because I think it's an important message. That this was intended, this level all integration was intended to be supplementary to the ACE curriculum and supporting the exploration to give additional resources to you all as a chapter and the participants in order to actually successfully complete ACE, but you really don't need to feel pressured to monitor what's being completed by the participants. If anything, we created this in order to take some pressure off of you all to feel like if a student didn't understand how to write a resume, that maybe now they can at least start to learn on their own. Of course, it's always more helpful when they have a coach or a teacher to work with, but we hope that this, if anything, frees up your time and allows you to really expand your impact with your participants in that limited time that you do have with them. So you're not having to start from scratch when it comes to resume writing or college exploration with them, and they can feel empowered to make progress on their ACE goals and life goals when they're not with you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Manavi. As Julia said, if you have questions that come up as you're taking a look and diving in yourself and you've created your own account, please don't hesitate to send them our way or to reach out. We'll have Julia's contact information also will come in a follow-up following this webinar. We're also recording this webinar, so you can always go back and watch this again. Thank you, Julia, for even reading out my comment there. Again, intended to be supplementary for all of you, really give you some additional resources to support the exploration. But what we know really is at the heart of all of our programs is that relationship that's built between the coaches as mentors and our participants and really guiding them through the process. So again, look at this as another tool, another resource to really support the learning that's taking place. And we hope that it's going to be really helpful to all of you. But thank you, Level All. Thank you, Julia, Manavi, for supporting us here and for helping us get this set up and created.
Awesome. Thank you all. We're super excited to hear how you all make use of this. And I do want to emphasize a point that I made before. We really do control all of the content on our site. So if there is something that you see or something that you don't see rather, that you think could be really beneficial, whether it's to students in general or specifically First Tee affiliates, or even just for ACE, maybe we missed a collection that you think we should be linked on one of the tiles for resources. We really encourage this line of communication to stay open, and we make our best improvements to the app based on feedback from our partners. So we thank you in advance for providing us with that feedback.
And it looks like there was one question from Chris up there. Is it possible to assign specific resources in addition to having them start from the dashboard? Being able to assign things is something that a lot of our partners have expressed interest in. And that, I believe, Julia, correct me if I'm wrong, that's something that we're working on adding for, I believe, later this spring. Is that right?
Yeah, it's in the pipeline to be able to click an assign button and have it. And we will, of course, make an announcement to all of our users on the platform when that does come through.
And in the meantime, I think Julia mentioned like we can have flyers in the homepage, and then once they click into that ACE collection, then that is always going to be on their like jump back in section of their homepage.
Perfect. And I was just trying to get the link together for you all. So anyone who is excited to make their account before the email comes through, I just put the link in the chat, and you can feel free to click it and start now or start later. on creating those accounts. One thing I'll say out loud, and I'll make sure Brittany includes in the email, part of the onboarding process is identifying a school that you as a student or an educator are associated with. You all can feel free to click I can't find my school and just enter First Tee. The important thing to get you linked to First Tee is that you use this link. If you put in your one of your kids' schools or the school you went to, that is totally fine. It will not affect your affiliation with First Tee. Same goes for your students if they actually enter their real high school. They will still be affiliated with First Tee because they came in through the First Tee link. Perfect. And I don't think I see any other questions in the chat.
Nope, just a call out from Lexi here. The link is now available in the First Tee app. So if you already have ACE participants in there who are pursuing ACE and they're in the ACE learning plan, when they go into the ACE learning plan, they will have a link right there to take them into the Level All platform to create their accounts as well and get started on exploring the content. So that is already set up in First Tee app for all of our participants.
Awesome.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. We hope that this is going to be a really valuable resource, and we look forward to hearing from all of you how you're using it. And Level All looks forward to hearing from you how they can continue to improve and support what we're doing. So thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.